Can we get the clip on? 5 layers. 25 layers. Oh.
So this is what the sidemen were holding KSI back from. Yeah, you can see in his eyes that he is exactly where he wants to be in life. No, he's not that old, but is this the YouTube equivalent of like a midlife crisis?
I feel like, yeah, that KSI leaving the Sidemen will ultimately backfire on him, you know, like...
KSI is leaving the Sidemen. Your thoughts on this?
I'm not gonna lie, how is the BBC putting that on the news, bro? Like, KSI left the Sidemen, that's so funny, bro. What's the Sidemen? It's the Raj, bro.
I'm disappointed in your team and the people around you, man. How and why they thought it would be a good idea for you to enter the ring looking like that is beyond me, man. It was embarrassing. Have they no shame, or are they there just to massage your ego while you're still paying them?
You may have seen the news that has just been dropped. I didn't know that video was going out now, so I'm expecting a lot of people to just ask me about.
After KSI stepped away from the Sidemen, the reaction online blew up almost instantly. A lot of fans felt like the move came out of nowhere, and from the way people have been discussing it, many believe the rest of the group may have been caught off guard too. That unexpected timing quickly became one of the biggest talking points across social media, with viewers picking apart every detail and trying to figure out what really happened behind the scenes. He later released a statement that sparked even more debate. Some viewers felt the message came across as distant or slightly backhanded, even if that may not have been the intention. In the statement, he said, "I know you're all grieving in your own way because of my decision, but you knew it was coming for a while. And I know some of you are angry. Some of you don't want to accept it. Some of you might even hate me. Some of you are just upset. It's okay. I'll always be here for you. I always have been here for you. Don't see this as the end. See this as a new era or a new beginning." While the rest of the message focused more on reassurance, that section grabbed the most attention and got people talking. The bigger issue for many fans was that the situation did not seem like something everyone had fully prepared for. Once clips started spreading online, a lot of viewers got the impression that several members appeared surprised by the timing, which only added more mystery and speculation to the situation.
There's always like a Harry Styles, you know, in One Direction, or a Beyonce in Destiny's Child. You could argue I am that of the Sidemen.
According to a huge amount of online reaction, many fans believed KSI's decision caught the rest of the Sidemen completely by surprise, and the timing made the situation feel even more dramatic. What made it even stranger was that the announcement landed on the same day some of the members were involved in Soccer Aid in the UK. Soccer Aid is one of the biggest charity football events in the country, and for those taking part, it should have been a major occasion. Instead, much of the conversation online quickly shifted toward the exit announcement, pushing the event out of the spotlight. Because of the growing confusion, the group later released another statement saying, "Unfortunately, his exit did not happen in the way any of us wanted it to. That has understandably left many of you confused, and we feel you are owed some clarity." The statement continued by explaining why it had taken time for the group to respond. They said, "It's difficult for us to address this, and it's taken time because we're a group, not an individual. We don't really have one spokesperson, and each of our opinions and feelings are different, which is why we're sharing this as a joint statement." They also revealed that they had hoped for a much different ending to this chapter. According to the statement, "Ideally, we would have loved the chance to give JJ the send-off he deserved, a proper farewell video, time for everyone to process it, and an opportunity to celebrate everything we've built together." That part especially caught fans' attention because it suggested there were plans for a more organized and meaningful goodbye that never got the chance to happen. The statement then added, "Unfortunately, JJ shared the news before we had agreed on a mutual way of telling our audiences." With that, the group's position became much clearer, and many viewers felt it was obvious that everyone had not been fully aligned on how the announcement would be handled. Reports also noted that JJ appeared to respond with a love heart reaction. However, that reaction was later removed from both Instagram and Twitter, which sparked even more discussion online and left many fans feeling like the situation was still far from fully resolved. A fresh wave of clips has also been making the rounds online, and many viewers are pointing to them as part of a larger discussion about KSI's recent behavior. Across social media, some fans have argued that confidence may have started crossing into ego, while others strongly disagree. Either way, those clips poured even more attention onto the situation and pushed the conversation to a whole new level. What started as a debate about one announcement quickly became something much bigger. For many viewers, the main issue was not simply that JJ decided to step away. Instead, people kept focusing on the timing of the announcement, the tone of the messages, and the impression that other members were left reacting publicly as events unfolded. Once that narrative took hold online, every interview clip, social media post, and reaction started getting examined in extreme detail. As more clips spread across platforms, fans began reading deeper into every small moment. Some people focused on the deleted response, arguing that its removal made the situation look even less settled. Others pointed to the group's joint statement, saying it suggested there may have been more disagreement behind the scenes than many fans originally thought. No matter which side people supported, one thing became clear: the discussion was moving incredibly fast. The reaction kept evolving from disappointment into heavy speculation, with new theories, debates, and opinions appearing almost every hour as fans tried to piece together what was really going on behind the scenes. At that stage, the situation no longer felt like a straightforward departure to many viewers. What began as a single announcement had grown into a much bigger public discussion, with fans analyzing every statement, reaction, and clip. As more details and opinions surfaced, the entire story started to look far more complicated than a simple exit.
Is anyone
I think-
near? Speed walks down the road.
I show
everyone-
Speed as a person is more famous.
And I disagree.
Sure.
Like, it's like, okay, who do you think's more famous? Me or Speed?
Speed, mate.
You're
Sorry. I'm
mental,
sorry.
bro.
I'm sorry.
Comparing yourself to the Beyoncé of your friend group might sound funny at first, but for many viewers, it raised a few eyebrows. There seemed to be a deeper conversation behind the joke, especially since this is someone who critics and fans alike have often described as having a very strong sense of confidence and self-belief.
Mental,
sorry.
bro.
I'm sorry.
You know-
this new,
you know,
this
like,
new generation.
You're
Speed. I'm sorry. I'm
mental.
sorry.
You're
I'm
just
sorry.
living in this bubble.
Just to,
What are you on about? I'm sorry, mate. Like,
you know, yesterday, like, he's the president of UK Ballers.
sure.
So ballers themselves said, we're bringing in a guest next week, which clears any previous talent.
Speed.
Yeah.
No.
One of the most talked about parts of the situation is how some people feel there has been very little public pushback from those around him. To certain viewers, it almost looks like people are being extra careful with what they say, possibly to avoid creating even more drama or tension. Whether that perception is accurate or not, it has become a major reason why fans keep examining this moment so closely. Once a group dynamic starts looking even slightly unbalanced, every little reaction can get blown up online. Fans are no longer just reacting to the announcement itself. Instead, they are watching body language, statements, social media activity, and interviews for clues. People have been paying attention to who seemed surprised, who appeared calm under pressure, and who looked like they were trying to keep the situation from escalating in public. That is where the speculation really starts to grow. For many viewers, the conversation has shifted beyond a single decision and toward what the situation might reveal about the group's relationships behind the scenes. Some believe the public responses made any tension look more noticeable, while others argue that the internet could be overanalyzing a highly emotional moment. Either way, the spotlight has remained firmly on the connection between the members, and that ongoing debate is what continues to keep the story in the headlines. Some people argue that a certain level of confidence is necessary to reach a high level of success, but many viewers feel this conversation has moved beyond that point. The reason it keeps gaining attention is because during recent podcast appearances, he has been openly discussing and criticizing aspects of his own friend group, something that naturally caught the attention of fans. That is why a lot of online reaction has framed this as more than simple self-confidence. To many viewers, these comments did not come across as casual observations or harmless jokes. Instead, they were seen as a much more direct public message, which only added another layer of discussion and speculation around the situation.
Trying to compete with Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
He gets about 4 billion every month in shorts and about 600 million long form. I mentioned the Sidemen boys, I'm gonna get more subscribers than Sidemen, and I'm also gonna get more views. I've got more views than Sidemen in a month, so now I just need to get more subscribers. And then it's like, all right, cool, I'm looking at Speed now. I need to try and get more views.
It was difficult for viewers to know exactly how to interpret the situation. Some felt the comments were completely genuine, while others questioned whether there was more behind them. Either way, the clip in question was only a short segment, yet it quickly became a major topic of discussion online. Many fans also argued that the reaction might not have been as intense if there had not already been ongoing criticism and perceived shots being directed at other people. One example that got attention involved KSI's editor, who was accused by some viewers of taking aim at Vicstar123. That sparked another wave of debate, especially because Vicstar123 is widely respected within the community, and many fans felt uncomfortable seeing him pulled into the controversy. As a result, more attention started shifting toward both KSI and his editor. KSI later addressed part of the situation directly, saying, "I've spoken to Mo behind the scenes, and it genuinely hurts seeing how some people have been treating him. Whether you agree with my decision or not, please leave the people around me out of it. Even after that statement, the conversation did not slow down. Instead, many people began resurfacing older clips and past moments, looking for additional context. As more content was shared and debated, the reaction continued to grow and the discussion became even more intense across social media. In what many people saw as an awkward twist, viewers quickly responded by sharing an older clip in which KSI appeared to be criticizing someone else's team. The timing of that clip immediately caught attention, and it became another talking point in an already heated discussion. Whether the comparison was completely fair or not, it was exactly the kind of moment people were already examining closely, which helped push the conversation even further online. That is part of why the situation kept gaining momentum. Once people begin viewing every clip, comment, or reaction through a particular lens, even relatively small moments can suddenly take on much greater significance. A brief remark that might have gone unnoticed before can end up becoming a major topic of debate when placed alongside everything else happening at the same time. The discussion has also expanded far beyond any single statement or social media post. For many viewers, it has evolved into a broader debate about communication within the group, who feels comfortable speaking openly, and how much of the situation was being handled privately versus publicly. As a result, fans have started paying attention, not just to what is being said, but to what they believe may be implied beneath the surface. That is why older clips, interviews, and past reactions continue getting pulled back into the spotlight. Some people believe those moments provide important context, while others argue that the internet is connecting unrelated pieces and creating a bigger story than the available evidence supports. Either way, the attention keeps returning to the same central question. Was this simply a messy public disagreement, or did it hint at a larger shift happening behind the scenes?
I am disappointed in your team and the people around you, man. How and why they thought it would be a good idea for you to enter the ring looking like that is beyond me, man. It was embarrassing. Have they no shame, or are they there just to massage your ego while you're still paying them?
Many viewers have pointed out the irony, especially since resurfaced clips seem to reappear almost every time KSI finds himself at the center of a major online discussion. As soon as a new controversy starts gaining attention, older moments often get pulled back into the spotlight and examined all over again. And those were far from the only clips making the rounds. During his podcast tour, even more past moments started resurfacing, giving fans and critics alike additional material to debate and adding even more fuel to the already intense conversation online.
Right now, long form, I'm about 40 mil.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to try and get to
So
100.
60 of that is made up from short.
Well, I mean, I can see, but...
Get the bragging out.
Not everyone enjoys seeing someone constantly bring up numbers, achievements, or statistics, but many viewers feel that has become part of the public image they are seeing right now. Whether that perception is completely accurate or not, it is a theme that keeps showing up in online discussions surrounding KSI. What has made the situation even bigger is that it does not appear to be centered around just one clip or one awkward interaction. There are so many moments being shared and debated that it is becoming difficult for people to keep track of them all. That is exactly why the conversation has grown beyond a single incident and turned into a much wider discussion. As viewers connect older footage, recent reactions, podcast appearances, and comments from different streams, the story begins to feel far more layered. Some fans believe these resurfaced clips provide valuable context and help explain why people are reacting the way they are. Others argue that the internet is stitching together unrelated moments and creating conclusions from incomplete information. That divide continues to drive the discussion forward. Every newly shared clip gives people another opportunity to analyze the situation, compare reactions, and speculate about what may or may not be happening behind the scenes. Even when no major new development appears, the conversation keeps spreading and opinions on the situation continue to grow stronger across social media. For supporters, the situation is often framed as nothing more than an overreaction to a complicated and emotional public transition. From that perspective, people are taking a handful of awkward moments and turning them into something much larger than they really are. Critics, however, see it very differently. Many of them view the recent events as possible signs that there may have been more tension behind the scenes than fans originally realized. Because of that, the attention stays focused on the overall pattern rather than any single clip or statement. That ongoing debate is exactly what has made the story so difficult for people to stop talking about.
I told the boys that I'm going to overtake them in views and subs eventually. And
how many? I mean, who does the?
I have overtaken them in views last month.
But when you say the boys, I mean, who are the big content creators?
Sidemen.
Yeah, I know, but Harry doesn't really make it.
No, as the group.
Oh, you're outperforming the Sidemen channel.
I'm outperforming the Sidemen channel, yeah.
Being competitive is completely normal, especially for people who have built successful careers in highly public spaces. But for some viewers, the conversation changes when others get pulled into the comparison, particularly if the comments come across as unfair or self-serving. That is where many fans start questioning the situation and debating whether certain remarks were necessary in the first place. A number of people online have argued that using old clips, comparisons, or achievements to elevate yourself can leave a negative impression, especially when friends and longtime collaborators are involved. The discussion becomes even more complicated when there is a belief that some members may not have been fully prepared for how events unfolded. As more clips continue circulating, some viewers have even speculated that the surprise factor may not have been accidental, although that remains a matter of opinion rather than a confirmed fact. What is clear is that many fans have come away with a greater appreciation for the group's ability to handle difficult situations publicly. Across the discussion, a common view has been that the Sidemen often helped keep tensions under control and prevented disagreements from becoming even bigger public controversies.
Has there ever been something that's gone so far down the line and then last minute you've got, this just isn't going to work, we need to sack this? NFTs!
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
this was KSI in his KSI crypto era. JJ thought it was the best idea, and then the other guys were like unsure, and I was like, I will not let this happen, so I had to like do a detailed breakdown of every reason why I thought it was a bad.
For many people following the situation, this is not even seen as a particularly controversial opinion. A common argument from viewers is that having honest people around you who are willing to disagree can be valuable, especially when you're making major public decisions. Some fans feel that when nobody pushes back, small issues can grow into much bigger problems over time. That is why the criticism has continued to build. For some observers, handling a difficult situation poorly is one thing, but the discussion becomes much more intense when people start questioning the motivations behind how events unfolded. A number of viewers have speculated that the surprise nature of the announcement may have contributed to the attention it received, which has become a major topic of debate online. One theory that gained traction came from discussions on Reddit. The idea was based on what some fans believe to be JJ's usual approach to generating attention and conversation. According to that theory, some people wondered whether an unexpected announcement could naturally create more reactions, more debate, and more interest in future content. However, it remains speculation, and there is no confirmed evidence supporting that interpretation. To be fair, some people online have pointed to previous situations and argued that major backlash can sometimes generate even more attention around a project. One example often mentioned in these discussions is Thick of It, where critics of the song claimed that the intense online reaction ended up keeping it in the spotlight for longer than expected. Whether people agreed with that view or not, it became part of the wider conversation surrounding how controversy and attention can overlap. Then another detail started getting attention and shifted the discussion in a slightly different direction. Some viewers noticed what appeared to be an earlier version of the video that may have been sent to Deji before the public upload. While that was not necessarily intended for a wider audience to see, fans quickly began comparing the two versions and looking for clues. According to people discussing it online, the public version appeared to be color graded, while the version allegedly shared beforehand did not have the same visual treatment. On its own, that might seem like a minor production detail. However, once people were already analyzing every aspect of the situation, even something as small as the editing style became a talking point. That is why so much attention has shifted toward presentation rather than just the words themselves. Some viewers believe the way the video was edited and packaged may have influenced how audiences reacted to it. Others think that conclusion goes too far and that people are reading excessive meaning into a routine production choice. Either way, the debate has become increasingly detailed, with fans examining everything from the message itself to the way it was delivered. Either way, what began as a brief burst of criticism has grown into a much larger debate about intent, timing, and who may have known about the announcement before the video was published. As more people weigh in, the conversation has expanded far beyond the original upload itself. With so much uncertainty surrounding the situation, every new detail quickly becomes a major talking point. Fans and critics alike have been examining small pieces of information, looking for clues about how everything unfolded. That ongoing scrutiny is exactly why the story continues to gain attention and why each new development gets analyzed so closely online.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you for all the hard work you put in.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Some people online have gone as far as suggesting that multiple people are connected to a larger strategy, though those claims remain speculative and heavily debated. Deji's name has repeatedly appeared in the discussion as well, with viewers sharing old comments, reactions, and social media posts that have gained significant attention across different platforms. To be fair, many fans have pointed back to previous statements from Deji in which he described KSI as being highly focused on business, success, and financial opportunities. Those older comments have resurfaced as people search for context around the current situation. Because of that, some viewers have argued that Deji's perspective deserves a closer look, while others believe it should be considered alongside many different viewpoints. What has made the discussion especially interesting is how familiar it feels to longtime internet observers. The cycle of resurfaced clips, old disagreements, fan theories, and public speculation is something YouTube audiences have witnessed countless times before, which is one reason the conversation continues to gain momentum.
You know what's wrong with you. You're too egotistical. You think you're a god. You are far from a god.
It is not just older clips involving Deji that are being used to support this narrative. Viewers have also been digging up past videos where KSI discussed his approach to YouTube, success, and content creation. While people can absolutely grow and change over time, some fans believe those older comments provide additional context for the current discussion, which is one reason the debate continues to stay active online. Once people start putting together timelines and connecting past events, the conversation can take on a life of its own. Older videos, forgotten posts, interviews, and reactions suddenly get brought back into the spotlight as viewers look for patterns. What began as a discussion about a single decision has, for some people, evolved into a much broader conversation about behavior, motivations, and long-term trends. For many viewers, the focus is no longer limited to what was said recently. Instead, they are revisiting older comments and warnings through the lens of today's controversy. That shift changes the entire nature of the debate. Rather than discussing one upload or one announcement, some people are now questioning whether there is a larger pattern behind the scenes, while others argue that critics are connecting unrelated moments to support a predetermined conclusion. As a result, the discussion has increasingly become centered on perception, credibility, and trust. So even if some people believe this is simply an example of the internet overanalyzing a fairly normal online situation, the reaction highlights just how fast a story can expand once audiences become convinced there may be a deeper layer to it. When that mindset takes hold, every clip, comment, post, and reaction starts getting examined for hidden meaning. At that stage, even the smallest details can become part of the wider debate. That is why these discussions often keep gaining momentum, with new theories, fresh interpretations, and ongoing speculation making the conversation increasingly difficult to quiet down online. For many viewers, that apparent change in perspective felt surprising and raised even more questions about the situation. But the discussion did not stop there, and more moments soon followed.
Thing to do with YouTube. I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. I had to keep up with a persona that was just so taxing on me and my general well-being, to be honest. And I don't know, but in my opinion, YouTube has changed a lot. I don't believe it's about the you in YouTube anymore.
The contrast between then and now has been one of the biggest talking points for viewers watching this unfold. For some fans, the difference feels so dramatic that they believe he has started displaying some of the same habits and behaviors he once criticized. That comparison has been showing up repeatedly in online discussions, with people pointing to recent content as evidence of how much they think things have changed. A lot of the criticism centers around the type of videos being uploaded. Some viewers have used unflattering terms to describe the content, arguing that it prioritizes quick reactions, viral moments, and attention-grabbing clips over the style of content they originally followed him for. Whether that criticism is fair or not, it has become a major theme across social media, where certain clips have been spreading rapidly and attracting plenty of negative reactions. The comments themselves have often been extremely direct. Some viewers have described the shift as disappointing, while others argue that the content feels aimed at a much younger audience than before. That may sound harsh, but it reflects the tone of many discussions currently taking place online. For those fans, the biggest question is how someone who once seemed focused on one creative direction ended up producing content that feels so different from what they expected. That is why so many people keep talking about the change. To some viewers, the situation feels deeply ironic, especially when they compare older statements and content with what is being posted today. As a result, every new upload ends up being examined through that same lens. Once audiences become convinced that a creator has changed course, each new clip starts getting treated as another piece of evidence in an ongoing debate, which is exactly why the backlash has remained so loud and persistent. Once a major debate reaches this stage, even the smallest details can end up under a microscope. Viewers begin analyzing everything from editing choices to presentation style, and the conversation stops being about a single video. Instead, it grows into a much larger discussion about personal branding, creative direction, and whether the qualities that originally attracted fans are still present. What has made this reaction especially noticeable is that the criticism is not coming from just one group of people. It has spread across different communities online, with each audience focusing on a different aspect of the situation. Some viewers are talking about the tone of the content, others are focused on what they see as a shift in the target audience, and some simply feel that the current direction is very different from what they expected in the past. That variety of opinions is exactly what keeps the conversation going. Different people are connecting with different parts of the debate, which allows the discussion to continue growing from multiple angles at once. As a result, the focus has gradually shifted away from surprise and toward perception. People are no longer reacting only to individual uploads. They are reacting to what they believe those uploads might signal about the future. And once those kinds of assumptions take hold online, the discussion often becomes much bigger, louder, and far more difficult to slow down.
Essentially is the game right now. That's how you remain relevant nowadays. And personally, I just don't want to be a part of that game anymore. I just hated how YouTube became like a chore for me, having to always keep up with these trends. I started making videos because that's what I wanted to do. I feel like I want to end doing videos that I want to do.
For some viewers, the comparison to Mr. Beast is part of what makes this situation stand out. Even people who were not huge fans of that style of content often felt it brought something new or distinct when it first gained popularity. That is why some critics have struggled to connect with this newer direction. Their argument is that simply following a formula does not automatically recreate the same success. Many viewers feel that audiences usually respond to originality, personality, and timing, not just the format itself. Maybe a similar approach can work, but plenty of people online seem unconvinced that repeating a successful blueprint will guarantee the exact same results. In 2026, many viewers seem far more skeptical of this style of content than they might have been a few years ago, which could make the timing especially challenging. Online audiences move quickly, and trends that once attracted huge attention do not always get the same response when they reappear later. Of course, it is still too early to know exactly how everything will play out. For now, at least from a business perspective, the Sidemen appear to be continuing forward without major issues, and that is part of why the discussion has expanded far beyond a single clip or upload. Once people start viewing a creator's decisions as signs of a larger shift, every follow-up move tends to get examined much more closely. What might have started as a straightforward change in content has gradually become a broader debate about timing, audience preferences, and whether certain formulas can still succeed in today's environment. A lot of the criticism also seems tied to expectations. Some viewers were already comparing the newer content to older internet trends, so when additional clips appeared to lean even further into that style, it gave critics another reason to question the direction. That is why the conversation has continued to grow, with fans and critics debating not just the content itself, but what it could mean for the future of the channel. That does not mean everyone agrees with the criticism, but it helps explain why the reaction has remained so strong across social media. Different viewers are looking at the situation through completely different lenses, which is why the debate continues to stay active. At this stage, the discussion is no longer focused only on the video itself. For many people, it has become about the overall impression the content leaves behind and what they believe it says about the channel's direction. Once that kind of perception takes hold online, every new upload tends to get examined as another piece of a larger story, which is exactly why the conversation has shown very little sign of slowing down.
Right over there. Can we get the clip on? 5 layers. 25 layers. Oh.
So this is what the Sidemen were holding KSI back from. Yeah, you can see in his eyes that he is exactly where he wants to be in life. No, he's not that old, but is this the YouTube equivalent of like a midlife crisis?
I know this video has covered a lot of ground, but some of the jokes and reactions coming from fans have been impossible to ignore. If Vic suddenly started showing up with some of the over-the-top energy people have been joking about online, plenty of viewers would probably have a lot to say about it too. And at least for now, much of the reaction across social media seems to be moving in a similar direction. If there is any truth behind the theories and speculation surrounding KSI's departure from the Sidemen, many viewers feel the situation has not reflected particularly well on him. For years, one of the biggest appeals of the Sidemen was the idea that 7 close friends could grow together and become some of the most successful creators in the UK. That story inspired a lot of fans and helped build a strong connection with the audience. Because of that, some viewers see KSI's current direction as a sharp contrast to the image they originally supported. Critics argue that the path appears more isolated and that there may be fewer people around him willing to challenge decisions or offer tough feedback. Whether that perception is fair or not, it has become a recurring theme in the discussion. What stands out most is how widespread the reaction has been. While there are certainly fans defending him, many online conversations have leaned heavily in one direction, making this one of the more lopsided social media debates viewers have seen in quite some time.
This overstimulating, oversaturated, numbers above everything style of content, this corporate slop, entertains very small babies, entertains 7-year-olds with unrestricted internet access. It's not going to build the audience loyalty that the Sidemen have built over many, many years, and it's only going to erode the loyalty that KSI has from his audience. Because he's not doing this because it's the content he wants to make, because it's what he dreams of doing, because it's what he enjoys. He's doing it because a marketing team said it would do nothing.
If you enjoyed this breakdown of the Sidemen reaction and the ongoing discussion surrounding KSI's latest move, be sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below.
I think it was the earliest hit. I called it. Shot. And Vic is now here.
This is a new unlock.
I feel like, yeah, that KSI leaving the Sidemen will ultimately backfire on him, you know, like...
KSI is leaving the Sidemen. Your thoughts on this?
I'm not gonna lie, how is the BBC putting that on the news, bro? Like, KSI left the Sidemen, that's so funny, bro. What's the Sidemen? It's the Raj, bro.
Vic is now here.
That way, you can stay updated on all the latest developments, reactions, and conversations as the story continues to unfold. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.